Hey mathletes, so in this lesson we're going to look at exponential functions. So an exponential function is any function where the independent variable is an exponent. Generally speaking, it's y equals a times b raised to the x. So a is going to be your y-intercept, your starting value. B is going to be your growth factor. So it's going to be 1 plus a rate. The important thing to remember is that anything to the 0 power isn't 0. Remember, it's 1. Also, exponential functions are going to have an asymptote. That's a line that the function will not cross. So see how it starts off really flat and then gets very steep? It starts off very flat because it's approaching 0 as it goes to negative infinity. Because the negative exponents aren't negative numbers, they're fractions. And as the denominator is very big, it gets to be a very small fraction, but it's never going to be negative. So again, things to remember, a is your starting value. That's your y-intercept, because b to the 0 power is going to be 1. 1 times a is a. B is the growth factor. That's going to be 1 plus or minus a growth rate. The rate is going to be a percentage as a decimal. So 20% increase, 20% as a decimal is 0.2. So the growth factor would be 1.2. And x is our independent variable. Again, that's usually time. So let's take a look at this question. So a town has a population of 11,000 and grows at 4% every year. What will be the population after 15 years to the nearest whole number? We know that y equals our starting value of 11,000. 1 plus, because it's growing, and 4% is 0.04. I'm going to raise that to 15 years. So our growth rate is 4%, 0.04. Our growth factor is 1.04. Remember, we want this to the nearest whole number. For those of you who like to do math in your head, you're not going to be able to in this case. You're going to need a calculator and a piece of paper. So 11,000 times 1.04 raised to the 15th power. It's going to be 19,810.3. Remember, we want the nearest whole number though, so this is really 19,810 people. In this case, we have something called exponential decay. So it's not growing, something's going down. So you bought a new car for $23,200. So your starting value is $23,200. Unfortunately, as soon as you buy the car and drive it, it is now a used car. So our rate is negative 0.1325. That's 13.25%. I'm going to raise that to the 7th power. Remember, we want it to the nearest cent. That's the nearest penny. So we're going to simplify this. So our growth rate is 13.25%, so 0.1325. Our growth factor is 0.8675. Again, we're going to type this in the calculator, and we're going to get $8,577.769. Again, we want to round that to the nearest cent, so this is going to be rounded up. So after 7 years, your car is worth $8,577.77. Remember, decay is going down, something is decreasing. Growth is increasing, it is obviously going up. So whenever you see a growth factor less than 1, that's decay. Growth factor greater than 1, that is growth.